Some examples of folks we've been able to help recently may serve to better describe these programs and their value. We were able to finance a family that had lived their whole lives in public housing. They, like so many lower-income families, had little established credit. So much of their income is spent on the necessities of life, there is little room for credit purchases. Most of their purchases are for cash: rent, food, clothing, and transportation. It's not that their credit is bad, just sparse. We did some investigating and were able to come up with enough to satisfy the needs of the mortgage program. They had made their rent payment faithfully for years. Furniture had been bought on layaway. Pots and pans had been purchased from a mail-order catalog that gave financing. All this information was then furnished to the credit bureau for verification, and these folks are now homeowners in the immediate area. We frequently see people for whom homeownership is only a dream. For example, single people. We are often able to qualify them under one of our programs. A single person who was living with friends received a one-time gift of some money from her grandmother to rent a place of her own. She decided that this was her only chance at home ownership if she could make the dollars stretch far enough. Our 95% financing program with no points gave her enough money so she could cover the down payment and closing costs from the gift. Another case is a single parent without any down payment, but enough cash for closing costs and a steady job. She wanted a place for her 2 children to call their own. Using the Farmers Home Guaranteed Loan Program, we were able to help her buy a home without any down payment. Her monthly mortgage payments are affordable and will remain the same for the life of the loan. We also get people who do not make enough money for a decent home. They have steady income and credit, but a regular mortgage payment would not leave enough left over for the other necessities of life. We are able to work with the Farmers Home Subsidy Program to get these folks decent housing at a payment they can afford. Farmers Home works out a budget for them and subsidizes the shortfall. They pay only what they can afford. Applicants under both the bond program we offer and the regular Farmers Home Guaranteed Loan Program are by definition people who cannot obtain home financing anywhere else. Under the bond program alone, we will be providing homes for some 80 families that would not otherwise be able to afford them. In closing, I wish to state that our purpose here today is not just to give you the details of our program. It's to make more people aware that these programs exist. The more people that know of the programs, the better chance we have to help some of them. It's why we run seminars in the community about the program. Brannon Banks is in the business of financing affordable housing. We are pleased to be able to offer these programs, and we are grateful for the opportunity given to us today to speak to you about them. Thank you.
In closing, as I mentioned, I want to give Nick and Chip, Dave and Gary some of these brochures, so if you pass them down, please, Tony. Sure.
Have you got a
home equity programs, home improvement loans, the affordable housing programs, what have you. You have any questions? Shoot them at, Joe has the answers, I don't. Okay.
Do you have a certain time that you're having the seminars, or are they announced, or what?
We announced them ahead of time. We just run 2 on the Farmers Home program, and we'll be running 1 on the bond program shortly, probably over 2 months.
I got enough for
We'll announce it. We'll get you an announcement also.
I'd like to thank Wayne and Joe and John for coming forward. This is the information we like to get out to the public, and I really appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Based on the Treasury bill markets. I thank you.
Thank you, Ron. We're just giving you some of the highlights here from these various programs. We'll have time for any questions after we finish. In July of last year, we set up an entirely new division within Brannon Banks when we saw a need to address the need for 30-year fixed-rate mortgages, which we were not able to process in-house. So we hired Joe Levin, who is our next speaker, came with us in July of 1990, and we set up an entirely new division under our Brannon Bank Services, which represents all 5 of the Brannon banks, giving us the ability then to produce and to make 90%, 95% loan-to-value loans, 30-year fixed-rate type mortgages, and so forth. These were products we did not have before. Joe will give you some additional details on these programs and how they're available to help our community. Joe Levin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Joe Levin. I run the secondary marketing department for Brannon Banks. Last year, Brannon Banks identified a need in the community that was not being addressed fully. To meet that need, the secondary marketing department was formed. The function of the department, quite simply, is to go out and find programs to make mortgages on houses in our community where the mortgage may not otherwise be made. We looked for programs that were new, different, that met needs in the community that were there, but perhaps were not being fulfilled otherwise. I'm pleased to tell you that during the past year, we have added many such programs to the mortgage menu of Brannon Banks, and I'd like to share a few of them with you. At the present time, we're able to make a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage to enable a buyer to purchase a home with only 5% down. Additionally, we can offer the program with no points, minimizing closing costs. Our minimum mortgage for that program is only $10,000. Also, if the applicant wishes, we can guarantee the rate at the time of application through closing, so that the rate they applied for is the rate they wind up with. For those that wish a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage but don't quite qualify, but in the next few years feel that they would qualify, a raise or two is coming, some debts will be paid down, we offer a program called a temporary buy-down program. This is a program that gives the customer the 30-year fixed rate, but also allows them a few years to work into the payment. What it does basically is, for a slightly higher rate, the initial rate for the first year is 2% less, and the second year it's 1% less, and then it evens out for the remaining 30 years. For example, if today's interest rate for 30-year fixed were 9%, they would be able to qualify and pay for the first year at 7%, and at 8% the second year. By the third year, they would be at the level for the remainder of the term, and hopefully in a position to handle it properly. We also offer 30-year fixed-rate financing for investor properties. This allows folks that need to rent the ability to have places to rent, knowing that financing is available for the investor. These properties will tend to be available. For those who either do not qualify for a 30-year fixed or do not wish a 30-year fixed, we have a variety of new adjustable programs. One that is of most interest is what they call the bargain rate adjustable. It has what I believe to be as low an initial rate as exists in the area. Today's rate would be 5 7/8%. What's significant about that rate is that that is the rate that a customer can qualify at and can make payments at for the first year. On a 30-year mortgage of $30,000, the monthly principal and interest payment at 5 7/8 is $178. Also, the interest rate caps go from that initial low rate, so that the 2% per year increase and the 6% over the life increase come from the 5 7/8. If, for example,